what's up everybody? Welcome back to another Path of Exile video. I haven't done one of these in a little while, but I'm really enjoying Scourge League, so I figured I'd give you my update on it. It seems like everybody else is kind of putting updates out right now, so we'll do mine. So I League started as a Saboteur, minor Saboteur, currently level 84. Don't have my final Ascendancy. We'll go over the passive tree in a little bit, though. First thing I want to do is let's run a map, and then we'll go over gear. So I have this orchard map here, it's Beyond on it, Chilled Ground, and Fish Replay. So no big deal. I will say a couple things about this build. It's one of the better ones that I've seen this league that isn't Toxic Rain. Although it is a minor, I know the minor playstyle isn't for everyone, but the people that do enjoy mines, this is a really nice mine build. So we have a lot of clear speed thanks to just the way the build is set up, especially with just the gem, the Eye of Winter. The skill is, you kind of inherently get a lot of clear speed with this skill. We are running crit. We're a very heavy crit build. So that's why we're getting all of our freezes. That's one of our main defensive layers too, is actually just the fact that we freeze everything. So you're never really going to have a minor with a lot of defenses, a lot of EHP. If you're looking for a more safer build, I would suggest going traps instead, and using like a tinker skin, either like ball lightning traps or explosive traps, something like that, where you wear a tinker skin and you basically just become immortal as long as you're throwing and triggering traps. Miners are more, I guess you could say, glass cannon style, so basically if we don't kill it, it's going to kill us. So this was a tier 4 map, pretty straightforward. We'll go do the boss real quick. So we're going to throw down our debuffs, we're going to hit it, we're going to trigger our mines, and it's dead. So, this build is really nice. Any miner really is nice for bossing. Just with the mine playstyle, the fact that you can you can stack up damage before and then trigger it and run around. We do a lot of debuffs with this build, and there's a couple different ways you can go about debuffs with this build. You can either manually drop your debuffs, or you can have a auto debuff. So first debuff we're going to be using right here is Bear Trap. So as you can see, if I throw it, it hits them, and what that's going to do is that's going to give us a ton more fizz damage, and it's going to give the enemies less movement speed. So along with that, we're going to have our Arcanist Brand. Now, I'll go over the gem setups a little later on, but basically our Arcanist Brand is doing two things. It's applying a curse, which is Sniper's Mark, and it's also activating our Hydrosphere.
Just need a moment.
You'll see it pop. You can see the Hydrosphere just popped. And so that the Arcanist Brand makes it pop more often than if you're just manually placing your Hydrosphere. This build is pretty good for high-end bossing, I guess. The base build I actually got from Path of Matth. This was one of his league starters. I changed it a little bit and made it more league start friendly, I would guess, because he was in his build guide, he had like Zeri steps, bunch of cluster jewels. Actually, I think he had 2 cluster jewels. He had a snake pit ring. He had a skin of the loyal, and just, I mean, stuff. Yeah, you could technically get first week of league, but I mean, if I'm paying 40C for a snake pit, Zeri steps are going to be 3x. Like, you're not really going to get that. So I just made it a little bit more league friendly. If you guys want to see his video, by all means, credit where credit is due. Please go check him out. I'll leave a link in the description to him. Like I said, I'm not trying to steal his thunder. I took his build and tweaked it a little bit. So, start off with though. I guess we'll go over gear. Main pieces of gear you're gonna want to get is you're gonna want to get +1 level of all cold spell skill gem wands. I paid like I think a chaos for these. Like day 3 of the league, or no, day 2 of the league. They were just super cheap. They're always cheap. You really don't care about anything else to start with. Just the +1 is going to help you a lot. After you get a +1, you start getting currency. I would then start stacking cold damage and spell damage on, as well as the +1 level. As you can see, this one has increased cold damage, increased spell damage. This one has increased spell damage and crit multi. And then I need a res, so I put res on this one. It's no real big deal. Your helmet's going to have to be evasion based, and I'll go over that with the tree side. Basically, you try to get something with mind throwing speed if you can. I think this I paid 3 chaos for yesterday, which was day 3 of the league, so pretty cheap. Tabula, weirdly enough, this dropped to me at the Fairgraves in Act 1. I killed Fairgraves, and Fairgraves dropped me this tabby. So, and I've done all the way up to tier 9 maps with this, and as you can see, I've got 2 little gems, or watchstones in every one of my regions, and I have an extra one laid over. And I've done that with this gear, with a tabby. So, I mean, yeah, we have 2,700 life, but we have quite a bit of evasion, and realistically, it's softcore. Who cares? Just, if you die, cast on death portal, just throw yourself back just keep throwing your body at it. Who cares if you die? As long as you beat the boss who cares if you have used all 6 portals? You beat the boss, it doesn't matter. Amulet Attributes, you need a lot of strength because I'm running steel skin, just as a little buffer. So I got some attributes from a Citron Amulet for strength and dex, and then +7 all at and a little bit of int. I also needed the cold res on this. The cold damage attacks doesn't matter. We're not doing an attack. The other ring just going to be res and life. Your gloves, again, you're going to need evasion, res, and life. Boots, evasion, res, and life. These, I actually crafted these with an essence. I dropped the 2-tone base, and I crafted them with an essence, and they actually turned out really nice. Belt, you're going to need a lot of strength, like I talked about before, so get strength and res. It's your bog standard league starter. Everything that isn't unique needs strength and res. It needs attributes, res, and life. There's your 3 things. Your snake pit, now like I said, I paid 25C for this day 2 of the league. Or day 3 of the league. They were 45 day 2. This is kind of cool. So the way this works is if you put it in your right ring slot, it makes your projectiles chain. So you can't ever hit the same boss with the same projectile. So like if Rog is a boss and I detonate a trap, I can't ever hit him with the same projectile. But Hydrosphere is really cool because you can hit the sphere, and then the sphere can do damage with the hit you did on the sphere. So that's why I throw down my Hydrosphere and then my mines. So not only am I hitting the boss with my mines, I'm hitting the Hydrosphere, and the Hydrosphere is hitting the boss. And so that helps, because when your projectiles chain, it'll hit the boss, and then if you have your Hydrosphere placed right, it'll chain back into the Hydrosphere. So it's just like a 2-for-1. And like I said, these are pretty cheap. So next thing is let's go over the gems. Summoner Skitterbots, Everminer Trapper is gonna have Skitterbots, no big deal. Steel Skin, if you want to run it, cool. Basically, I'm doing it for the bleed because I didn't have a bleed flask to start off with, so I'm using it for the immunity to bleeding. It's also a knife because it gives you a little bit of a safety net. Like like I said, Hydrosphere and Sniper's Mark is linked to Arcanist Brand. So that'll trigger both of those. Next we have Flame Dash with Onslaught. Basically, that I'm not really keeping an uptime on Onslaught. I happen to have 2 greens and a blue. Put my Flame Dash in there. Put Grace in there. And I'm like, okay, I got a green, let's throw Onslaught in it. It's whatever. It doesn't matter. You're never going to have permanent uptime with Flame Dash, of Onslaught with Flame Dash. It's never going to happen. Grace, now Grace is really nice because we're evasion based. This gives a ton of flat evasion rating, which is nice. And it also gives percent evasion. Like I talked about before, Cast on Death Portal. I paid a Chaos for this Portal gem. Go buy you a Cast on Death support. Throw it in there. If you die, who cares? You got a portal right there. We're throwing ourselves at the content. It doesn't matter. We're softcore. Who cares? Now, if you're hardcore, probably don't do this, but you know, I'm not a hardcore player. So next thing we have is Bear Trap. Like I said, it gives physical damage, but it also slows them down. It gives them 25 or 80% less movement speed when they hit that trap. It also gives us a 25% increased damage boost. So with our Bear Trap on top of our Hydrosphere and Arcanist Brand, or on top of our Sniper's Mark, we're hitting a lot. We're hitting very hard with this build. I put Calling Strike on there as a support. You can put something else. Basically, Calling Strike is just, it's nice to have. You don't have to take that extra 10% of life. If you get the boss down to 10%, they're dead. So that's all for the gems. Passive tree, pretty self-explanatory. Again, this is a bog standard miner. It's nothing real big and flashy. We don't use 4 billion cluster jewels. It's not some in-game farmer. It's made to league start with. So, first thing is Ascendancy. Like I said before, I don't have my final Ascendancy. First thing you're going to take Pyromaniac, because it gives you immune to shock and ignite, and you're going to get a little bit of life regen for each mine detonated. Next thing you're going to take is Bomb Specialist. You get area effect, and you get throwing speed. This will be about Act 7. You'll take this, and this is where you'll start really, like, begging, like, come on, give me throwing speed. Give me throwing speed. You're going to be wanting that. Demolitions Expert's next. The Hinder is really nice, especially on bosses. Because we're reducing their movement speed further. So with 40% on that, plus our Bear Trap of 80, we're reducing their movement speed by 110% on bosses. So a lot of times, you'll throw that, or you'll throw your Bear Trap, and then you'll throw your mines, and as soon as you detonate those, when that boss walks over your mines, as soon as you detonate that, it'll dead stop them in their tracks. And if it doesn't, we also, because we're crit and we're cold, we can chill or freeze them. So that is a lot of our defenses. It's just the fact that we can basically stop bosses in their tracks. Final Ascendancy, you can either take Born in the Shadows for the blind, which is probably what I'm going to do. Or you can take Explosive Expert if you want the extra pin. I totally forgot to go over our main 6 link, but I'll do that right now. We're Eye of Winter, High Impact Mine Support, Trap and Mine Damage, Swift Assembly, Increased Crit, and Cold Pin. That's your main 6 link. You can swap out Cold Pin for faster projectiles if you want to map faster. You could also swap it out for GMP, either or. You could swap out High Impact Mine for Blast Chain Mine if you like the mine chaining feature. Really doesn't matter. I can't believe I forgot to go over that. That's funny. So, skill tree. So, like I said, I'm going to link Path of Matth's original video, which he actually has the POB in his video. So, check that out. That'll give you leveling POB. I'm just going to go over it real quick. Basically, we take crit, we take mine and throwing nodes. We go up here, we take cold nodes, take life, we take cold and crit nodes. We go over here, we take crit nodes and mine nodes. We go up here, we take mine damage nodes. First jewel socket, I took Guerrilla Tactics for the extra throwing speed and move speed, and Surprise Sabotage. Next thing, we're going down, we're taking a lot of res, a lot of chaos res. As you can see, I have -8 chaos res. That is really nice. That is because of this wheel right here. Going down, we're taking life. Okay. Going down farther, we're taking another jewel socket. Again, expert sabotage. I haven't leveled up yet. Eventually, your 2 cluster jewels will be expert sabotage, and there's another sabotage one. Basically, you just alt spam till you hit one, re-go into the second. If you get lucky, cool. That's how I got guerrilla tactics. I was happy with that. I wanted the extra mine throwing speed anyway. Next thing is we're going down. Now this is where we kind of get into our defenses a little bit. We're going to take a lot of evasion. So this is suppression is apparently evasion now. So we're taking acro, which is our dodge, and then that's our basic dodge engine. Is just acrobatics. We're taking spell suppression, taking some more crit. We're coming down, we're taking some life, flash recovery rate, and some evasion rating. Going back up and over, we're taking mana reservation nodes, so that we have enough mana to throw all of our mines. Next thing is we're taking AoE nodes, mana nodes, and a jewel socket. There's also a jewel socket here that we'll take. And there's another one, or there's a crit node here that I'll take. I'll take Throat Seeker, which is just crit multi. So, hopefully that kind of explained it. I know I talked really fast, but I don't want this video to be 45 minutes long, and we're already at 20 something. So, really good for League start. If you guys check out Matt's video, and I will see you in the next one.